How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about BBIG. Many people are saying, Dre, we need to get your update on this stock. So of course, I want to make sure I put this video together. We've seen the stock did pull back quite a bit. The market conditions have been very choppy. So I want to make sure if you're deciding to get into this play that you're going to be prepared. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to be aware of those key levels in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. And I'm also going to be telling you guys about a swing trade opportunity, which I'm going to be looking at. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side, especially since it did have a big dip today. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for BBIG. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $3.13, being down 19.95%. On the low, it tested $3, and then on the high, testing $3.56. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, we traded at 35.124 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 16.119 million shares. So what this shows us right away, we had above average volume, more than doubled, but we saw a good amount of selling pressure, and also the markets were choppy as well, and the earnings report was not exciting either. And when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, we are at 27.52. So we are in that oversold territory. And then when we take a look at the moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 50-day. We're also below the 100-day. We're also below the 21-day EMA and as well as the 200-day. So what we could see here right out the gate, we have a gap. So we have this gap here from 379 all the way going down to 355. And like many of you know already, and if you've been watching my channel long enough, most of the time gaps get filled. So I know for a fact many people are going to be playing this gap fill in the bullish case scenario, of course, because we have to see some upside to actually fill that in. Now, as far as support is concerned, we can see we do have support right at that $3 level. We've seen this in the past as well. So I'd want to see a continuation of this actually holding up. So if I was going to do like a quick trade, of course, I would jump in and then I'd probably put a stop loss around $2.75. So I'm like, you know what? I'm willing to risk 25 cents a share on this trade so we can get that move back up, going to around $4 and then seeing how much we can actually gain even further from there. I feel like that is a good strategy to use, but again, this is not financial advice. So we're going to be taking a look at the recent short interest information for BBIG. So for the dark pool short volume ratio, it's at 39.93%. And then for the dark pool short volume being just over 4.78 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 300,000, updated 8 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it's at 25.68%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the 19th, which was last week Friday, it was at 40.12. And then for the close of the 22nd, which was yesterday, being at 39.93. So one thing that is very clear, BBIG does continue to have short squeeze potential, but there's also a lot of negative market sentiment around the stock. So this is why it's important that there's a lot of volume and there's a lot of buying pressure to really get this play moving. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for BBIG. So you can see here on the inflow, it was 19.22, and then on the outflow, it was 18.83. When we take a look at the breakdown even further, on the large, it was 4.98. On the medium, it was 10.82. And then on the small, it was 3.42. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 7.05. Then on the medium, it was 8.28. And then on the small, it was 3.50. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for November the 23rd, it being a negative outflow of 2,072 2.23. When we take a look at this breakdown even further on the order flow, you can see for the small scale side, which tends to represent the retail side, we ended up having more selling than we had buying, but it was still fairly close. And then when we take a look at the medium though, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, of course, as you notice, which can potentially be institutions, we had more selling than we had buying. When we take a look at the turnover ratio though, we can see it was at 36.22%. We know there's a lot of traders that are going in and out of BBIG, but as far as for the turnover and the pullback that we had, everything does shape up and it does make sense. So this is why you want to make sure if you're taking this as an investment that you're aware of how liquid the stock is, how many traders are going in and out, and paying attention to where those areas of support and as well as resistance is so you can maximize your entry if you're thinking about getting into this play, or even if you're thinking about averaging down and so on. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for BBIG, before I get started, let's go over the recent update that came out, and it does address what was going on in regards to earnings and why the stock actually pulled back. Why Vinco Ventures stock is diving today. Vinco Ventures is trading significantly lower Tuesday after the company announced third quarter financial results that declined year over year. Vinco Ventures reported a quarterly earnings loss of $7.59 per share, which was down from a loss of 30 cents per share year over year. The company reported quarterly revenue of $2.23 million, which was down from $2.52 million year over year. Vinco Ventures said the revenue decrease was primarily driven by the decrease in sales of personal protective equipment in the Edison Nation Medical Division. The company announced that cash and cash equivalents and restricted cash totaled $149.9 million at the end of the quarter. We are very pleased with our operational developments in the quarter, which included key building blocks of our strategy to create a global media and content platform, said Lisa King, CEO of Vinco Ventures. So right away, you can see earnings were not that great whatsoever, but of course, at least they were able to explain the reasoning behind it, and this is why the stock ended up having a strong pullback. As far as for the swing trade opportunity that I do see here, and I talked about it inside of the technicals, I would be setting up a mental stop loss around $2.75 or even $2.70, and I'll be looking to get a position right around $3, and then I'll just ride it to the upside to see where it could go. We know that $4 is going to be a psychological area, and also there is a gap that needs to be filled to the upside. I talked about that inside of the technicals, and if you've been watching my channel long enough, gaps get filled. So this is why I say as far as for the risk and the reward looks really good here. When we went on Fintel taking a look at the short interest information, of course this play will continue to have short squeeze potential. So this is why when you have buying volume coming into the stock, we see moves to the upside, part of the reasons why we talk about it on this channel, and this is why I say, you know what, it does present an opportunity, especially on the pullback that it had. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's see how BBIG performs for the rest of this week. Do keep in mind it is a short week. The market will not be open on the Thursday. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.